All right, welcome back to another episode of TNT, the Twisted New Testament. Tonight, no main title. Phone lines are open, so get your questions ready because we're ready for your questions. See you shortly. Welcome to Knock Talk. I'm your host, William Hall, broadcasting live out of Kingsland, Texas, USA, with another episode of TNT, the Twisted New Testament, with the handsome rabbi from the Big H, Houston, Texas. Welcome back, Rabbi. How the heck
are
you? You got to do the finger dance because we won't catch it later, I'm pretty sure.
No, I'm too tired.
All right.
We'll see.
Okay. Very good. Okay, so folks out there, you're watching right now. Sorry about the freezing. I'm not sure what's going on with the transmittance of Skype into my software, but it's one of those things I don't know how to fix right now. Not sure why it's there, but we'll try to deal with it this week and figure it out. So, but you can still hear and you can still see, and it'll play off and on. So hopefully that'll be satisfactory enough. So good to see you guys. Been missing everybody. Passover Pesach has been a great season for a lot of reasons. No, I was not trying to plan that.
William.
Yes.
I can't seem to pull up what we're doing now on Tanakh Talk section of YouTube.
Well, let me check to see if it's live, and it is. There's 6 people watching. So, yep, I don't know why. Refresh your screen, sir.
I've done that every 10 seconds.
That's okay. Just, keep trying. It's up there. I can actually see it. So,
all right.
Gerard Funds, Chag Sameach, Amigo, Bill Smiley. Very good. Nicholas Jacobowski, good to see you guys. Okay, rock on. So phone lines are open, 855-952-4253. That's 855-95-BIBLE. Write it down. Remember that. Big shout out to Travis Wirtz, my good brother and amigo, who created this fantastic station, this nice channel. So, all right. Wow, it's been a long, long week. Been very, despite being Pesach, it has been so incredibly busy. So busy, I actually missed my opportunity to go to see my friend Lon. Shout out to you too, Lon. He's been hosting us every year on Pesach for me and my family to go to Dallas. Missed out on him this year, so anyway, looking forward to see him next year for sure. So, but anyhow, let me make sure. Let's see. I don't see any alerts or flags, so we're good. Hello, Kelly Joyce. Nice to see you, Peter Stewart. Very good to have you guys. 855-95-BIBLE.
I can't.
Yes.
I don't know what I'm doing differently.
Close your.
I hit
Rabbi,
Tanakh Talk.
Rabbi.
Yeah.
Close your internet down, and then reopen it again. Like X out of your internet altogether and reopen it.
You mean the browser?
Yes.
Okay, I'll do it again.
May not fix it, but hey, it might. You never know. So, very good, very good. Well, I'll tell you what. Sorry, I cannot get my mind off of our conversation we had before. Look up.
What?
David, look there. Yeah, dig it.
YOUTUBE.
So, if you don't want to call in, apparently people are bashful. Otherwise, they would have been calling in already. Put your question right here in front of me on the YouTube channel if you want. Yes. ¿Qué pasa? It's fine. It's okay.
Boy, that was weird.
Did you find it? Did it log on?
I'm on now here.
Yeah, see? You just got to follow the redneck, man. What's up? We're live, yeah.
Okay. Hi. All. Okay.
Okay. Hey, if you come back, you better bring me a shot of tequila or something. That's right, Dan. Don't be drinking it. That's mine. All right. Very good. Very good. Man, I'll tell you what. Yes.
Gerard Funds. Isn't it funny how when we write Chag Sameach, it looks like Chag Samich? I always thought that's funny. Chag Samich. So Chag Samich, everybody.
Chag Samich. That's awesome. I love it. Wow.
And Moedim L'Simcha.
Very good. Okay, so Matthew Koch, I don't understand how Paul sees Psalm 16 as his main argument in Acts. How can I explain to family and friends that David isn't saying he will not die?
Psalm 16. Let's go to it.
All right, let's pull it up.
And let's go and Tanakh talk about it.
To knock or not to knock?
Psalmy 16, right?
6. Yeah, Psalmy. Okay, Bill Smiley.
16.
Okay, so 16. Is there a particular verse? Of course, Psalms are all short, so it shouldn't be hard to find. Actually,
I'm just waiting for my program to come up.
I will pull it up. Yes, sir.
Okay, Psalm 16.
Okay. Where did my Bible software go? Did I just squeaked in my voice? Did you hear that?
No.
Okay, very good. Yoshi Ben, good to see you. Brad Hoffman, thank you for watching. Wilmington, North Carolina. Wilmington, very good. All right, we're all opening up here. This is, just so you all know, getting a slow start. This is the first show this week. Because
okay, no, wait a minute. So he is saying,
all right,
David isn't saying he will not die. He will not die?
Okay, so his family are Christian, and it has something.
I got that, but I'm trying to figure out. Okay, preserve me, O God, for in you do I put my trust, O my soul. You have said unto the Eternal, you are my God. My goodness extends not to you, but to the saints that are in the earth, and to the excellent in whom is all my delight. Their sorrows shall be multiplied that hasten after another God. Their drink offerings of blood will I not offer, nor take up their names unto my lips. The Eternal is the portion of mine inheritance, of my cup. You maintain my lot. The lines are fallen unto me in pleasant places. I have a goodly heritage. I will bless the Eternal, who has given me counsel. My reins also instruct me in the night seasons. I have set the Eternal always before me, because he is at my right hand, and I shall not be moved. Therefore my heart is glad, my glory rejoice. My flesh shall also rest in hope. For you will not leave my soul in hell. Christian translation. Neither will you allow your Holy One to see corruption. Why would the soul be in hell, except, not hell, but it's Sheol? I bet money on it. Right. Give me a second. Just give me a second.
Remote. That's what I was looking for right there.
16, Ken. Lo tosov nashi lishol. Right. You will not. Okay. So the point is why would it say you will not leave my soul in hell, in Sheol? Okay, because you put my body there. The body goes to Sheol at its death. The spirit goes back to God. The soul goes back to God who gave it. Okay, so Sheol is the unknown, from the word sho'el, meaning to question. I have a she'elah, which is a question. Okay, so what he's saying there is my body gets put in the ground, I get buried, but my soul doesn't go to the underworld, to the ground. My soul goes to God who gave it to me. You will not let okay, let me check this just to see the, okay, you will not allow the righteous one to be slaughtered. Or, let's see, neither will you allow your godly one to see the pit. If a person, pit can refer to any number of things, but it doesn't mean that the person doesn't die. And by the way, didn't Jesus die on the cross? But that's another issue. Okay, it doesn't mean that the godly one doesn't die. What it means is that a person who's godly is going to have suffering.
Okay.
So that's how I look at it. What bothers me the most, William, and who was it? Matthew. But what bothers me the most, about interpretations, and we've said this repeatedly, is I can interpret a verse, you can interpret a verse, Matthew can interpret a verse. Interpretations are, nobody can say anything bad about somebody's interpretation except to say, I don't agree with your interpretation. Mm-hmm. And that's just human opinion, because all interpretation is only human opinion. But if it contrasts with the general thrust of the Tanakh, if you have a verse in the Torah which says something that opposes the interpretation someone gives in the simple, obvious, literal simple meaning of the verse, okay, you can't get away from it. You can't say, like they do, some verse is speaking about the Trinity. Well, who says? But if I can show you verse after verse after verse after verse after verse, which we talked about 2 weeks ago, by the way, that talks about God is one, God is indivisible. You can't subdivide God in different parts where each part is separate and unequal to the others, but somehow one and the same, which is exactly what Christianity does. Then you have to reject the interpretation that someone gives you if it contradicts a specific verse or specific verses in the Tanakh. Okay, so what did he say? He said it was, where to go?
We should ask
Acts 2:25. Thank you.
Real quick, Rabbi, just a second. John Payne, I think he asked earlier where we've been. So because of Pesach, we didn't have any shows yesterday, so that's where we were gone to. So now we're back on. And then also there's a clarification. Where'd it go? John Wiseman has a comment. He says, what caught my attention was the use of the word saints in verse 3. There was no such concept in David's time. Saints are a Christian invention many centuries later. Thank you, John.
Right, but that usually means bad translation. Remember something, with most translations, they translate in a way that's going to reflect their own already existing theology.
Right.
Okay, 16:3 in the Hebrew.
All right, let me pull that up.
It says the holy ones.
See, King James 16:3, Hebrew, BHS parsed. Let me pull that up real fast.
Right. The holy that are in the earth, they are the excellent in whom is all my delight.
Lakidashim, yeah.
Right. It means the holy ones. It means the people who are righteous, the ones who passed away nevertheless. In the earth means they died and got buried. So the holy ones, Kadoshim means that the holy ones, the people who were pious, the ones who were religious, the ones who obeyed God, followed the Torah, etc., etc. Again, see what happens? They want to interpret this. Paul does. I just forgot where it was. Where was it again? And Paul, Acts something.
What context? What are you asking?
He had put up Acts 2:25.
Okay.
Acts 2:25. Acts 2. Oh, cut it out. 2:25. Okay, this is where he quotes it.
Alrighty then. There it is right there. For David speaking concerning him, for I foresaw the Lord always.
Before my face, for he is on my right hand. Now he's quoting the psalm that we just looked at, 16. Therefore did my heart rejoice and my tongue was glad. Moreover, also my flesh shall rest in hope, because you will not leave my soul in hell, neither will you suffer your Holy One to see corruption. That doesn't mean that the Messiah doesn't die.
Right.
It means that a person who is holy doesn't have, bitterness or whatever. What's the word? You might say persecution, or you might say, any number of ways to interpret this, but to all of a sudden make it where the Messiah isn't human and all humans die, and the dust returns to dust, the soul goes back to God who gave it, okay, contradicts everything else that the Bible says about human beings being made up of human flesh, blood, and the soul.
Okay.
Going back to Genesis 1:26.
I want to jump something in here, okay?
Go ahead, go right ahead.
Okay, so Mr. E. Nayup, I'm doing the best I can. Sorry, it doesn't look English. Great question. Really, really good question. Tanakh Talk and Rabbi, if God doesn't punish people for the sins of their fathers, why does God punish Gehazi and his descendants and not just Gehazi in 2 Kings chapter 5? That's a great
So let's go to 2 Kings. Where'd it go? Hello? Oh, there you are. 2 Kings 5. Okay.
Now Naaman, the captain of the host and the king of Syria, was a great man with his master and honorable because... So we're going to read the whole thing, or we're going to pick out a voice. What do you think? Or a verse?
Where are you starting?
Thanks, Jim. Got you, buddy. Just 5 verse 1. It's a short chapter, so...
Okay. Now Naaman, captain of the host of the king of Syria, was a great man with his master and honorable because by him the Eternal had given him
Hi,
deliverance
Jackie.
into
Hi,
Syria.
Lori, Andrea. Sorry, go ahead.
He was also a mighty man in valor, but he was also a leper. And the Syrians had gone out by companies and had brought away captive out of the land of Israel a little maid, and she waited on Naaman's wife. And she said to her mistress, would God, my Lord, were with the prophet that is in Samaria, for he would recover him of his leprosy. And one went and told his Lord, saying, thus and thus said the maid that is the land of Israel. And the king of Syria said, go, and I will send a letter to the king of Israel. And he departed and took with him 10 talents of silver and 6,000 pieces of gold and 10 changes of raiment. And he brought the letter to the king of Israel, saying, now when this letter is come unto thee, behold, I have therewith sent Naaman my servant to thee, that you may recover him of his leprosy, cure him of his leprosy. And it came to pass when the king of Israel had read the letter that he rent his clothes and said, am I God to kill and to make alive, that this man does send unto me to recover a man of his leprosy? Wherefore consider, I pray you, and see how he seeks a quarrel against me. And it was so when Elisha, the man of God, had heard that the king of Israel had rent his clothes, that he sent to the king, saying, wherefore hast thou rent thy clothes? Let him come now to me, and he shall know that there is a prophet in Israel. That's an interesting statement. So Naaman came with his horses and with his chariot and stood at the door of the house of Elisha. And Elisha sent a messenger to him, saying, go and wash in the Jordan 7 times, and thy flesh shall come again to thee, and you shall be clean. But Naaman was angry and went away and said, behold, I thought he will surely come out to me and stand and call on the name of the Eternal as God, and strike his hand over the place and recover the leper.
What verse are you at? Sorry.
Verse 12.
Thank you.
And not Abana and Pharpar, rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel? May I not watch in them and be clean? So he turned and went away in a rage. In other words, he didn't want to work for what he was supposed to be given.
Right.
And his servants came near and spoke unto him and said, my father, if the prophet had bid thee do some great thing, would you not have done it? How much rather then when he says to you, wash and be clean? Then went he down, dipped himself 7 times in Jordan, according to the saying of the man of God, and his flesh came again into the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. And he returned to the man of God, he and all his company, and came and stood before him. And he said, behold, now I know that there is no God in all the earth but in Israel. Now therefore I pray thee, take a blessing of thy servant. But he said, as the Eternal lives, before whom I stand, I will receive none. And he urged him to take it, but he refused.
Okay.
Not quite clear what that means. And Naaman said, shall there not then, I pray thee, be given to thy servant 2 mules burdens of earth? For thy servant will henceforth offer neither burnt offerings nor sacrifice unto other gods, but only unto the Eternal. In this thing the Eternal pardon thy servant, that when my master goes unto the house of Rimmon to worship there, and he leans on my hand, and I bow myself to the house of Rimmon, when I bow myself down to the house of Rimmon, the Eternal pardon your servant in this thing. And he said to him, go in peace. So he departed from him a little way. Now here we have the whole thing. But Gehazi, the servant of Elisha, the man of God, said, behold, my master has spared Naaman the Syrian in not receiving at his hands that which he brought. Oh, the bribe, the money and the gold. Okay, now I got it. But as the Eternal lives, I will run after him and take somewhat of him. So Gehazi followed after Naaman, and when Naaman saw him running after him, he lighted down from the chariot to meet him and said, is all well? And he said, all is well, my master has sent me, saying, behold, even now there be come to me from Mount Ephraim 2 young men of the sons of the prophets. Give them, I pray thee, a talent of silver and 2 changes of garments. So the prophet Elisha says, I'm not going to take the loot, okay, but Gehazi says, I'm going to get the loot that was supposed to go to my master. Okay, and Naaman said, be content, take 2 talents. And he urged him and bound 2 talents of silver in 2 bags with 2 changes of garments and laid them upon 2 of his servants, and they bare them before him. And when he came to the tower, he took them from their hand and bestowed them in the house, and he let the master go, and they departed. But he went in and stood before his master, and Elisha said to him, where are you coming from, Gehazi? And he said, your servant went no whither.
Right.
And he said unto him, went not mine heart with thee when the man turned again from his chariot to meet thee? Is it a time to receive money and to receive garments and olive yards and vineyards and sheep and oxen and manservants and maidservants? The leprosy therefore of Naaman shall cleave unto you and unto your seed forever. And he went out from his presence a leper as white as snow. And tell me exactly where that says that Gehazi and the, leprosy and the leprosy that went on to his seed forever. tell me where that saves people from their sin.
It's more.
Tell me where it says that because they got leprosy, that somebody else got forgiven of their sins. No, what happened?
No, that wasn't the question. though. The question was why was him and his family cursed for that? Why wasn't it just Gehazi who was cursed?
Because there are repercussions to our behavior,
like natural consequences,
or even unnatural consequences. It does. Look, if Gehazi gets leprosy and he has contact with his family, it's highly likely they're eventually going to get it too.
Right.
Okay. The point is that nothing that happened to Gehazi or his family ever said was supposed to take away the sin, the guilt for having sinned of anybody else, except he himself is the one who did this, and his family suffers for it, eventually getting leprosy. Same thing with we also. It's the same issue with David and what's his name? His son. His son dies.
Right.
Okay. It's not that the death of the kid takes away the guilt or sin of David. Okay, David. Yeah, David. It's the result of what he did. If I pollute the world, the next generation has to breathe my pollution.
Right.
Okay. But does that mean if they die from lung cancer, God forbid, that their death takes away my sin for having polluted? No, it means that there are repercussions and effects of what happens when a person sins. But it never says anywhere that the death of the children or the family of Gehazi, was for the sin of somebody else. It's the result of what they sinned. A very big difference. Look, you can even go to something like Harry Potter, okay, where Harry Potter had to die to be able to come back and be able to kill Voldemort. Okay, and this is a very, me and names, William, it's terrible. Old age is terrible. What's the name of the author? J.K. Rowling. Okay.
I would not have given you that name.
J.K. Rowling is a very devoted Christian. And she said, when people saw the parallel with Jesus, she said, what do you want? Don't you know who I am? Don't you know what I believe in? Of course. Why would you be surprised that my Christianity is going to be finding its way into my books?
Right.
Don't believe me. Go read the interviews with her. Okay? Google it. I'm sure you'll find it. The point is that here
are the top search results.
Oh, stop it. Okay, so the point is that exactly where does it say that Harry Potter dying took somebody else's sins away?
Mm-hmm. Right.
People die all the time for other people. A soldier will throw himself on a hand grenade to save the lives of his buddies, but it doesn't mean his death on the hand grenade takes away their sin. That's the quantum leap. That's the part that Judaism rejects, the Bible rejects outright.
Right, certainly.
Every man shall be put to death for his own sin. Moses on the mountain, I can't think of how he words it. Blot me out of the book that you are writing. Okay, most people assume it's book of life. It could be book of who gets a candy bar after dinner.
Right.
But the idea is that being blotted out of that book, whatever that book is to be punished. He's saying, punish me for their sin. And God says, sorry, it doesn't work that way. Okay, the person who commits the sin is the person who gets the punishment. The wickedness of the wicked shall be on the wicked, not on the righteous. That's what it says in Ezekiel 18. The point I'm making, though, is that people die for others all the time. The issue is, does their death take away the guilt for the sins that the others committed? And the answer is no, that's unbiblical. Mm-hmm. Repeatedly says. So I understand this question about Gehazi. I hope I answered it correctly. I hope I'm clear.
It sounded clear just fine. So, okay.
All right.
Very good. Okay, so another question I saw here. Let me go back to it. That's not the one. Hold on 1 second. Actually, it wasn't really a question. It was more of a statement, which I totally agreed on.
Okay.
Where the heck did it go? Basically, it meant...
Thank you, Yoshi Ben. Deuteronomy 24:16. Thank you.
Where did it go? Oh, here we go. See, Mr. Draskus said, this is probably obvious, but there is no devil in Judaism, right? Well, there is, but not the way Christianity teaches. Because
there's no devil. We got to be very careful with the words we use.
Right. That's why I said
there's the Satan.
Right. Let me finish the statement here. Hang on.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it says, because that would be dualism, like just one under the Trinity. In my understanding, it would also imply Hashem is not sovereign.
Yep.
So I was like, I totally agree. Okay.
Right.
Moving to John Payne, good friend. Will the soul remember his or her past life on earth in Olam Haba?
And all I can tell you is I don't know.
Right. That's.
I'm sure there are differing opinions, all of which is conjecture. Nobody's ever come back and been dead for a few months.
3 days,
years.
maybe.
Yeah, not even 3 days. Couldn't be 3 days if he wasn't 3 days and 3 nights. Yeah. And according to John, he was only in the ground 2 days and 2 nights.
Okay, I'm going to throw this. I'm going to throw this out there.
Jesus, sorry, what?
I'm just going to throw this thought into. There's some new viewers, right?
Yes.
This thought you need to really wrap your head around. Okay, Jesus did not die on the cross. He simply was taken off after 3 to 6 hours, and he spent the time in his tomb recovering. That's all I'm going to say. We got a phone call. Phone might have been ringing off the hook all night. Apparently, I had the thing turned down. Let's take it. Caller, welcome to the show.
Look what happens after 2 weeks of being off.
Please tell us your name, where you're calling from.
Right.
Hello?
You are live on the air. What's your question?
Hey, you said that, well, you asserted that Jesus didn't die on the cross, but that actually contradicts a universal assent by historians, whether atheistic, Jewish, and even the Journal of the American Medical Association.
First of all, before we go any further, please tell us your name.
It's Luke Rappaport.
That's what I thought. I thought that might be you.
I thought so too.
Yeah. So Luke, check this out.
First of
all, there are no historians from that time, no historians whatsoever that document the date. The only documentation you have on the death of Jesus is actually in the New Testament. That's it. There is nothing else exists.
That's not true.
Oh, really? Can you do me a favor?
It is true. Because here's what happens. The people who are reporting 100 years later are reporting about the religion called Christianity and what they believe. Okay? They're not saying I was an eyewitness. They're saying there's a group and they're called Christians. The reason they call themselves Christians because there's this guy Jesus, but they're not saying I saw it and it actually happened.
So the point is,
what Tacitus said in
Luke, hold on. Okay, Luke. Unless you can present to me a source, you are wasting our time. But you don't have any because they don't exist. You don't have any.
Wait. Let him read one. Okay, let him read Tacitus.
Go ahead.
Tacitus, that's the same guy who said that the people who were called lestes, okay, mistranslated as robbers, the two people on the crosses with Jesus, lestes in Tacitus means rebels, not robbers. But go ahead.
Well, okay, so I'm reading Tacitus. Just for some background, Publius Cornelius Tacitus was a senator and historian of the Roman Empire. The surviving portions of his two major works, the Annals and the Histories, examine the regions of emperors Tiberius, Claudius, Nero, and those who reigned in the year of the four emperors. He was born in 56 A.D., and he died in 120 A.D. And he's a pagan, so he's writing from a pagan perspective with a distaste for Christians. In Annals, book 15.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, Luke. So, out of all the millions of Christians in this world, you're telling me no Christian sources can support it, but a pagan does. And how is that supposed to increase someone's faith in Jesus when the Christians of the time don't even have any historic documents? It's only a pagan.
Oh, and by the way, you just showed us how Tacitus could not have been a witness because if he was born around the year 56, isn't that like 20 plus years after Jesus was dead and buried?
He was not a witness.
Which means he's not a contemporary of Jesus.
Please, and then
you're breaking up, and I'm not messing with anything. You literally are, but I can't hear what you're saying. But please answer the rabbi's question on this. If he was born in the 50, then he was not a contemporary witness. So therefore, we go back to my statement. There were no contemporary witnesses.
Can I finish the statement on Tacitus, and then I will address contemporary witnesses?
It's up to the rabbi.
So
I don't care. Go ahead.
Go for it. Go for it.
Here's the quote. Consequently, to get rid of the report, Nero fastened the guilt and inflicted the most exquisite tortures on a class hated for their abominations called Christians by the populace. Christus, from whom the name had its origin, suffered the extreme penalty during the reign of Tiberius at the hands of one of our procurators, Pontius Pilatus. And a most mischievous superstition, thus checks for the moment, again broke out not only in Judea, the first source of the evil, but even in Rome, where all things hideous and shameful from every part of the world find their censor and become popular. So
you do realize you just proved my point.
Well,
he's reporting on the existence of a group called Christians, and he's reiterating their history. He's not saying it actually happened.
No, he is saying it's happened. He's saying
but he can't.
Luke, he
cannot. It's impossible. Luke, it's impossible for him to say it happened because Luke, now it's time for you to just chill. I'm gonna turn your mic down if you just don't let me talk. He was not born until after. He's reiterating something else. There's no way he could say it happened with a certainty because he had no proof himself. He's going on his own stories. He's
listen
reporting
to the words
other
he
stories.
uses. He's saying there's a group called Christians, and here's their history.
That's what they're saying. He's not saying actually happened.
He's not saying I'm an eyewitness. He's not even saying there were eyewitnesses. He's saying this is a religion called Christians, for the word Christos and all that. You just read it.
He's a reporter. Moving on to the next caller. Ah, man. I don't know how many times you have to...
See what I mean about him? Okay? He ignores statements that people make, pats himself on the back and says, I'm right, I'm a great debater, and he's not even listening to what he himself says. Unbelievable.
Right.
Grow up, Luke. Please, get some maturity.
Hey.
Hold on.
Hey, how's it going? I'm trying to call in on the live show. It's Luke.
Oh, that's what I thought. Okay, so I want to make sure I got his phone number down. There we go. This is a different caller. Caller, welcome to the show. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
I want to make sure I got his phone number down. Hello?
Yeah, you need to turn down your computer, please.
All right. Let me turn it.
Can you hear me? I'm gonna have to hang up if he can't hear me.
Okay, I turn it down.
Okay, yeah, turn it all the way down, then you can talk, and you can tune in for your answer. Okay, go ahead. What's the question for Rabbi?
My question is, so you could hear me better. My question is something that Rabbi Tovia talked about. The snake in a Garden of Eden, that it was able to speak and walk, and it was really smart. And Rabbi Tovia said that. How did he say it? I saw this like a couple of weeks ago. I'm trying to remember. He said that it was the most intelligent animal of them all, and it got kind of scared or something that Adam wouldn't hang out with it or something, like be with it. So it wanted to be with Adam. That's why it tempted Eve to eat the apple, the fruit of knowledge or something. And then isn't that free will though? Because I thought that God only gave humans free will and not any other animal.
Rabbi, you got the concept on the question?
I'm sorry. I apologize, but I could not hear him well.
Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can fix that. 1 second. Caller, if you could just re-summarize that as in a shorter sentence.
And speak up, like be loud.
All right. Is this better?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. I heard Rabbi Tovia say something about the snake in a Garden of Eden that tempted Eve to eat the fruit of knowledge, And Rabbi Tovia said that it had legs and it could speak, and it was the smartest of the animals. But my question is that isn't that free will? Because Rabbi Tovia said it got scared or worried or so. I don't remember the word he used because I saw it a couple weeks ago. But he said because the snake wanted to be with Adam, it didn't think that it would spend as much time with him now that he had Eve. And so that's why the snake made Eve eat the fruit of knowledge, because it didn't want Adam to be with her or something like that. And isn't that free will? Like I thought God only gave human beings free will.
Okay. I'm not quite sure, okay, about that. And here's what I'm trying to say. Okay, let's say that what he was saying, let's say his existence, okay, was brought about by God's creation. Clearly it was, right? Hello?
Yeah,
Hello?
I'm here.
Okay. The snake existed because God invented him, right? Created him, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm not quite sure I agree with the statement that only humans have free will. Okay, I think that's my real objection. Okay. All right, my mind is on 30 different things at once. It's my fault, not yours. What's your name again?
John.
John, I apologize to you. My mind is just going 30 different places all at the same time. The story
John,
of Adam and Eve in the garden. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm going to hang up with John and take this next call. John, turn your computer back up now and listen in for your answer, okay?
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next caller, just sit tight. We'll take your call in just a minute, okay?
I'm not sure I'm going to be able to.
That's okay, just do your best.
All right. I'm only giving you my opinion, all right? Here's how I look at it, okay? It says explicitly that the snake was the cleverest of all, the most, what's the word? Was it clever? I can't remember. Genesis 3. Subtle, was more subtle than any beast, okay? And I have to believe that for something like subtlety, for something like what the serpent said to Eve, he has a thought process, he's walking upright, and it seems to me that his entire, what's the word? Physicality changed, okay? And you might say that he had his own free will because he's trying to subvert Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. He's trying to get them to do something. Look, I can do something bad to someone. It doesn't make me the devil. Okay, I can try to get somebody to do something bad. It doesn't make me the Satan. Okay, it means I'm not a nice person, but it doesn't make me, the Satan, but or the devil. So when the serpent acts in the way he does, it's his subtlety and mischievousness and this kind of thing that is leading him to do this. It's his nature. Okay, think of a serpent on the street. Okay, some serpents have this kind of skin that's really pretty. I live in Texas where they take skin of snakes and use it to make boots with. Okay, it looks pretty, it looks nice, and you don't really necessarily think of it as dangerous until it bites you, until it, bites you. So in the same kind of way, this is how he's acting here. Hey, look at this apple. It looks really delicious, Well, we're not supposed to eat of it. Well, who says you're not supposed to eat, You see what I'm saying? Once he committed once he got Adam and Eve to do what they did, the Bible, by the way, never calls what they did a sin. Okay, the first time the word sin is used in the whole Torah, it's referring to the jealousy of Cain for Abel. But it also says you can master sin, by the way. People leave that out. The point is that he loses his legs, his ability to walk. He is on the ground slithering, okay? But his nature is still the same of looking nice but not acting nice. William, am I making any sense at all?
Yes.
Well, I hope so, because I'm not really clear. I hate to admit it, but even when John said it again, I wasn't clear on what he was saying. I just hope I helped.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, let's take the new caller.
Let's take the next caller. Caller, welcome to the show. Please tell us your name. Where are you calling from?
Hi, it's Sadiq from San Diego, California.
Hey, welcome to the show. How are you?
Beautiful area.
Hey, great, yes. All right, so my question is, you hear Christians a lot of times saying that their life was changed through Jesus. They were their life was terrible. They were into drugs or whatever. They were doing crime, and then Jesus came into their life and totally turned the life around. How do you say, like, for someone that is in a bad situation like that, can Judaism or Torah or Noahism offer that same type of life-changing experience that they can
it does.
do something that's similar?
It does. I'm sorry. Unless I misunderstand what kind of life-changing experience you're talking about, people who have gone into Judaism, sincerely gone into Judaism, they wind up changing their lives. Okay, I know people who, and maybe some will say they just switched one addiction for another addiction, but they used to be alcoholics. They discovered God through Judaism, and they're not addicts anymore. They're very intense on their worship of God and their observance of the commandments. And maybe you want to say they just switched their addiction from whatever it was, cocaine or whatever, then they're switching it to fulfilling the commandments. But the point is they're not doing the heroin anymore or whatever, the cocaine or whatever.
Can I chime in?
Go ahead, please. I would always want you to. I don't want to do this alone. We're doing this together.
So changing lives is not, this is something you can share with your friends. Changing lives is not one of the qualifications of Mashiach when he comes. Now, to give you a couple of good examples, I'll stick with one good example. Okay, so I saw a YouTube video years ago where this family thought that there was like mom and dad. They were probably in their 50s, very poor, and they had like 4 kids. And the kids thought it would be like adult children. They were like 20, 21, 25, 26, whatever. They thought it would be a good idea to play a prank on their mom and dad with a fake lottery ticket. Right, and they're very poor, and so they're sitting there, and the video is like the camera's sitting in the corner of the room, and when they walk in, the mom's being all bitter and snappy and angry, and the dad's like a smart, but just being rude and all this other stuff, and they were like, "Hey, Mom, we got you a lottery ticket for your birthday," and so she scratches it off, and it's like for $100,000, right? Keep in mind this is a fake. This is a fake lottery ticket. It's fake, completely fake. She scratches it off, and instantly she is filled with joy. She turns into a different person. They let this thing go on. They even told her, Mom, don't cash it in. Wait for a few days, because people find out you have this kind of money, they're going to be crawling at you. You need to call a lawyer. You need to make sure this and that. So for the next few days, her life was completely changed, totally transformed instantaneously, right?
Wow.
By something completely and utterly fake. So changing someone's life has nothing at all to do with whether a person qualifies to be the Messiah or not. It doesn't even matter. I went to a concert one time and heard a song that I haven't heard since the 80s. And dude, I started crying. I had an emotional experience. It was the exact same experience, that same connection feeling that I felt whenever I was in church crying because I thought it was the Holy Spirit moving through me. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not about feelings. It's not about changing lives. God does change your life, but that's not the point. It's not about changing your life. You know, it's about Torah. It's about what does the prophet say to look for. That's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying?
But what can you tell a person, like, if they're in a bad situation and, you know, maybe Torah can't help them, but you don't have, like, this person that they can accept, and I don't know, it just seems like you don't hear about that with Torah, and you hear about it with Jesus all the time.
You know, for me, it was very simple. For me, once I found out the truth of Tanakh, of the Hebrew Scriptures, a.k.a. Old Testament, I was actually more set free than I was thinking I had to believe in a man God to be able to get this approval, when I realized I didn't have to, and all I had to do is live a good life and give God credit for who he is, you know, and really just be a good person in the sense of what Tanakh says and how to behave. That, to me, that was much more liberating than anything else I could have gotten from the New Testament. So, anyway, I hope that really helps. So, all right, he hung up to get that last question in. So, okay, moving forward, I have not been watching the chat. It is 9:03. Let's take one more call, and then we'll work on. Okay, welcome to the show. Please tell us your name, where you're calling from.
Hi, my name is Brad. I'm calling from New Jersey.
Welcome to the show. How are you tonight?
Fine, thank you. So my question is to the rabbi. I want the answer that what is the difference between the words Hebrew, Israelite, and a Jew, and how can a Gentile become a Jew or a person from Judah if he doesn't belong to the line of Abraham? Yeah, that is my question.
Okay, cool. Very good. Thank you. Go ahead and hang up and tune in for your answer, okay?
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. This comes up an awful lot. I want you, William, to go put some things up on the
you got it.
Screen.
Okay.
Okay.
What do you want?
Let me find it.
Okay.
Comes up so often, I actually have it as a note on my phone so that I can copy paste it. Okay.
No problem.
All right. Take a look at 2 Chronicles 11:3, I think it is.
Okay. Let me put that up and let me find 2 Chronicles 11:3. Where's my mouse at? Oh, there we go. 2 Chronicles 11:3. There we go. You're live. God's saying, "Speak to Rehoboam, the son of Solomon." Cool. Oh, just real quick. This is kind of a fun, whatever you want to call it, not a trivial thing, but a remembering tool. So of Rehoboam and Jeroboam, right? If you remember, sometimes I kept trying to figure out which one was a good king, which one was a bad king, or what had goodness in him. So Rehoboam would have been the good one, like repent. Jeroboam did not. So Rehoboam, repent. Jeroboam, no repent, no Rehoboam. Okay, and moving on. Sorry,
okay.
My brain acts weird sometimes. Just want to throw that out there.
All right,
go ahead.
But please notice what it says. Speak unto Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, king of Judah, and to all Israel in Judah and Benjamin, saying, what does that mean? It means tribes from the northern kingdom called Israel were found in the nation called Judah, the southern kingdom, and also in the southern kingdom was also the tribe of Benjamin. And that makes 12 tribes. So here we have evidence, there's more, and we're going to look at it, that the word Jew does not come from the tribe of Judah. The word Jew is derived from the nation called Judah, in which there were all tribes of the people of Israel. That's the northern tribes. The 10 lost tribes were never really lost. And the southern kingdom, all in Judah.
Very nice.
It's right there.
Yeah,
you can't get clearer. But let's get to a place where it's clearer.
Okay.
Take a look at 2 Chronicles 11:15.
And he ordained him priests for the high places, and I never saw that before.
Wait, what?
And for the devils.
Wait, what?
You said Second Chronicles 11:15, right?
Yes, 2 Chronicles 11.
Maybe it's a different verse in Hebrew.
Wait, no, it's 16.
Okay. And after them, out of all the tribes of Israel, such as set their hearts to seek.
Tribes of Israel.
Oh, there you go. Oh, yeah. Cool.
And after them, out of all the tribes of Israel, such as set their hearts to seek the eternal God of Israel, came to Jerusalem to sacrifice unto the eternal God of their ancestors.
Nice.
This occurs after the northern kingdom was destroyed. Okay? I'm sorry. After the northern kingdom of Israel had broken away from Judah, okay, it says all the tribes of Israel came to Jerusalem. It is a fallacy to believe that the word Jew comes from the tribe of Judah. It comes from the nation called Judah, and in that nation there were people from all sorts of tribes, all the tribes, every tribe. Okay? There is more to be quoted.
Let's do it.
Okay. All right. Take a look at the book of Esther. Oh, wait, before we go, well, you go look at the book of Esther, chapter 2, verse 5.
Okay.
Okay. But while we're doing that, let me remind you that we use the word American. That doesn't mean that everybody who's an American was born and raised and is a citizen of the United States and has no other nationality or background. The word American applies to people who are in America, but who have all sorts of national backgrounds. They're still Americans.
Interesting.
The word American is exactly comparable to the word Jew, derived from the nation called Judah, not from the tribe called Judah. It's a mistake. Okay, Esther chapter 2, verse 5. Okay. Do you have it up?
It's up. Now in Shushan, you can just read when it shows up. Now in Shushan, the place where there was a certain Jew whose name was Mordecai.
Right. So Mordecai is called a Jew in the Bible in the book of Esther, the son of Yair, the son of Shimei, the son of Kish, from the tribe of Benjamin. So here it clearly makes the statement.
Oh, yeah, because he's a Benjamite, not a Jew according to a Jewish tribe. But he was in the kingdom of Judah.
Because it never meant the tribe of Judah.
Right.
The word Jew meant people who are from the nation of Judah, which included the tribe of Benjamin and all other tribes, which we already showed. Okay, now he asks the question, how does somebody become a Jew? Because they're never going to be a descendant of the tribe of Judah. You don't have to be. Still in the book of Esther, look at chapter 8. And with this, we're going to have to close pretty quickly.
Okay, what verse do you want to go in Esther chapter 8?
I want you to take a look at verse 17. This is the end of chapter 8. Okay, and after I answer this question, I'm going to have to go.
And I do too. It's getting late.
All right. No, I mean literally I'm going to get up and leave.
Okay.
Okay.
You're coming here, right?
Right. In every province and in every city, whithersoever the king's commandment and his decree came, the Jews had joy and gladness, a feast and a good day, and many of the people of the land became Jews, for the fear of the Jews fell upon them.
They became Jews, exactly.
Exactly. How do they become Jews? The same way you become a Jew now. You convert to the religion of the nation. How do you become a citizen of the United States? You do the naturalization process. So to become a member of the people of Israel, the nation of Israel, God says, I will make you a great nation, not a culture, not a community, not descendants of a single tribe. I will make you a great nation. And the way you become a nation, a citizen of a nation, is naturalization. And our naturalization process is called conversion to the religion of Judaism. And I hope that answers your question. And
Beautiful.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to go.
Well, I want to say thank you very much, Rabbi, for your time and for
You're very welcome.
Everything. It's been a great show. And I also want to thank...
please donate to Tanakh Talk. to keep it going.
Please do. It's
all right. And unfortunately, I got to go.
Hey, love you, Rabbi. Thank you so much.
I love
for your
you
time.
too. All right.
You can just hop up. So, okay. See you next time, Rabbi. Thank you all. Seriously, it's been great. What an interesting show. And I really want to say thank you. A big shout out to the moderators out there on Facebook. It's very helpful having extra eyes on the set. And also I should want to thank Luke for calling in. I mean, because every scenario that I get into, and this does not change. Let me take this off. Where's it at? Hang on one second. I got to get my mouse on the right screen so I can close out that window. Where the heck is it? There it is. Hang on one second. And there we go. Okay, cool. So let's see if this is going to work here. That didn't actually work. That's okay. Okay, so, but every time I get into a scenario where I listen to someone who is messianic or, how would you say, there we go. I think I blocked it out this time. Who is messianic, ex-Christian, Christian, whatever the case may be. I constantly am on the lookout for someone who's got something new to present. Because I really am open-minded. I mean, and the thing about it is, unfortunately, most people that I meet who are Messianic or Christian, they're not open-minded at all. And I know this for a fact because I was Messianic for many years, and I was also Christian for many, many years, right? Christian teacher, Messianic teacher. Luke, you probably didn't know this, but I was a Messianic, if I went by the standards of everybody else calling themselves rabbis, I was a Messianic rabbi, right? There's no way to be a Messianic rabbi. But just saying, I was a Messianic teacher. And so I dealt with this stuff. I actually dealt with rejection before I left Christianity, before I left the New Testament theology behind. I actually argued with rabbis on YouTube, on Facebook, Rabbi Eli Cohen from Jews for Judaism. Man, I cannot tell you how many times I actually approached him and said, man, listen, you're just missing something, And it wasn't until I really started learning Hebrew and I decided, I'm just going to be open-minded from now on. I'm like, you know what? So I started praying. I was like, God, just whatever the truth is, I don't care what the truth is. I want to know what it is. But that's not how I used to pray. It used to be, Lord, show me the truth, the truth, but I will never, ever, reject Jesus or Yeshua. Would never happen. It wasn't until I actually stopped saying that and just asking for pure truth, then things started to becoming unfold, right? And so, Luke, you have nothing. There is nothing new you're presenting here. I mean, I've got over 600 episodes on this show, right? I'm talking like over 1,000 hours of teachings from rabbis, and we deal with your very topics over and over and over. You have nothing new to present, man. I'm not being rude. I'm just being real with you, brother. I was there. I was in your shoes, man. The things that you're teaching, they're nonsense. They're absolutely nonsense. And, I really can't say that I respect how you do your videos because you make a statement of faith, not a statement of scripture. And then you say, see, I won. Dude, it's not about winning or losing. It's about what does Tanakh teach, right? And first of all, you can't keep going back quoting New Testament verses because New Testament doesn't matter. The only way the New Testament could matter is if we could prove its validity using Tanakh, using the Hebrew Scriptures, a.k.a. Old Testament. But you can't. It's absolutely impossible. I mentioned 3 things on YouTube, and you refused to address any of those 3 things. No virgin birth. Well, actually, that's not true. You did actually make a comment. You didn't address it, but you did make a comment. Blood was necessary, but it was not necessary. Go look at the story of Yonah, right? Look at where you could actually offer grain and that would actually atone for your sin. Blood was used for atonement, but it wasn't necessary for atonement. You need to get that straight. The moment that you actually said that, what you said, I instantly lost the desire to try to explain anything to you because you clearly have not studied this thing out. You've only been taught what you've been taught, and you've been taught to counter the counter-missionaries, but you haven't learned the Hebrew Scriptures. If you had, a lot of the stuff you're saying, you wouldn't use that. You would use something different. And I hope you're getting this because, and I don't even know if you're still watching, but I really hope that you are. Because the things that you're mentioning are very, very, honestly, they're elementary. I'm just saying. You can ask anybody on the YouTube channel. They'll tell you the same thing. We've been covering this thing for over 5 years now. Every Sunday almost for 5 years, dude. Come on, man. Be real with yourself. Be intellectually honest. Don't come to my YouTube channel unless you want to be honestly open to learning. If you're coming to evangelize, these people already left where you're at. They're not going to go back. You can evangelize all you want. No one's going to return to Christianity. I don't care what you bring to the table. So actually, you're wasting your own time unless you're going to be open-minded. I'm just being real with you, man. You're wasting your time because we were where you were at. You have never been where we are. And you can take that to the bank. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a great show. Thank you all for tuning in. Really look forward to seeing you guys. Same time, same place next week. Hashem willing. And peace out, everybody. Love you guys. Shalom, shalom.
חשוב והכרחי להיות ביחד. איפוק זו העוצמה, ויתור זו הגדולה, השאיפה והכמיהה. אני אתה אתם תמיד תמיד כולם ביחד. חשוב מכל חשוב והכרחי להיות ביחד.